When the armistice finally came, more than the First World War was over. It underlined what was already a trend, the shift of power in many areas, including language, to America. While Europe had been burning, the USA had experienced massive industrial expansion. The factories of the northern states needed new workers, and the poor of the South, many of the descendants of former slaves, saw the opportunity they offered and moved in. The migrants, overwhelmingly black, came along tracks like these and railroads like these. They came to the cities of the north, cities like Chicago, pounding with growth then and pounding with growth now. And they changed America. They also changed the English language. In the 19th century, almost all Afro-Americans had lived in the South. By the end of the century, 95% were up in the North. And they injected a new energy into the language. They brought African speech, African rhythm, new vocabulary.
We're gonna boogie. We're gonna boogie. We're gonna boogie. We're gonna get in the groove. We're gonna do these boogie blues.
What brought black and white together and put black speech into mainstream American was music. First jazz, then blues. New words and expressions started to accompany the soundtrack of what America is perhaps best known for, popular culture. Today, the language would be unimaginable without its colonization by words and expressions of black and African origin. The very words jazz and blues arrived from Afro-American speech at the beginning of the century. The African word hippiecat, meaning attuned to the environment or with his eyes open, gave us hepcat and later hip and cat. Later still, of course, its meaning grew to include the idea of hippie. White American embraced black American speech when people started to dance the hoochie coochie and then the cakewalk, the shimmy, jive and boogie woogie.
We're gonna boogie, woogie, 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 woogie all night long. We're gonna boogie, woogie, 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 woogie all night long.
And perhaps it was the sex in black music that seduced white America. Jazz itself may originally have been a word meaning to have sex. Later on, rock and roll certainly was. Jelly roll, cherry pie and custard pie were all words for the female organ. Shack up, in the sense of living together, comes from black speech at this time too. Black American expressions are now so mainstream that it's forgotten almost all Americans, and very many British, including almost all youth, now speak some sort of black. Young people want to be cool or bad, which was first recorded as meaning good in America in 1928. Others might want to be groovy or mellow, which came from melody in jazz circles in the early 40s. Square is out, but it may come back.
We're gonna get in the groove. We're gonna do these boogie blues. Boogie. Thank you. Thank you.
But it wasn't just black words flooding into American English in the early 20th century. Around that time, the country's population nearly doubled in just 30 years, mainly due to incomers from Central and Eastern Europe. As more Europeans migrated here and began to speak English, words from their own languages came with them. And American English, like English before it, was ready and able to soak them all up. And what was once foreign now sounds apple pie American English. If this coffee had been really hot, someone might have said ouch, from the German word ouch, A-U-T-S-C-H. As well as hamburger and frankfurter, the Germans gave us words like wanderlust, seminar, dumb for stupid, and even the game of poker from the German potzen. Bum, meaning tramp, comes from bummler, a good-for-nothing, hold on from halt an, and so long from the German so lange. So lange itself may have originally come from the Yiddish shalom. Bagels, lox, pastrami and borscht became part of our nosh, another Yiddish word. Soon, German and Yiddish speech patterns flooded the language, and by the end of the century, we would all quite naturally be using turns of phrase such as, am I hungry? I'm telling you. Now he tells me, could I use a drink? I should worry. And there was plenty to worry about in the 1920s. The prohibition of alcohol encouraged gangsters, and in a garage on this unremarkable site, 7 men were mown down by Al Capone's mob in the notorious St. Valentine's Day massacre. It was a time of racketeers and hatchet men, of goons and finks. If you took the rap for a heist, you might find yourself in the can or even in the hot seat, especially for a hijack with a submachine gun. A woman was a chick, a bimbo, a broad or a babe, and a telephone was a blower. we learned not to spill the beans or we'd be taken for a ride, and to avoid gimmicks and pranksters, junkies, pushers and the fuzz. And when we drank hooch, we had to watch out for a Mickey Finn. Gangsters are forever linked with the movies, never more so than here. John Dillinger, the FBI's public enemy #1, was gunned down as he left the Biograph movie theatre in 1934. He was fingered or betrayed by his companion, the notorious Lady in Red. She's still here.
Now beat it, you two mugs, before I lose my temper.
By the 1930s, motion pictures and sound had been united, and the talkies were in full swing, bringing a new vocabulary. Going to the movies, at a movie theatre or Nickelodeon, was a national pastime. You could see the stars in close-up, in a weepy or a tearjerker, laugh at some slapstick or be gripped by a spine chiller or a cliffhanger. While the usherette was selling ices, you could watch a trailer for next week's show. You might even dream of going for a screen test yourself. More than anything else, the talking picture would be the engine to spread American ideas and American English from Hollywood around the country and then around the globe over the next century.
Hey, where's the guy that hit me? Put him up. Come on, get over here.